I mean, here's the thing. If you play that game, you're like the rest of us. Just go romance Panam. You won't regret it. She's perfect in every way.
The second you see her, she's fixing the engine of her car.
It's great.
You know what scene I'm talking about?
It took me forever to start that mission.
I remember.
But that's okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the much anticipated, arguably our biggest episode that we've ever recorded.
Yep.
Episode 69.
69!
It's a big day for us. It's a big day for the show.
It'd be awesome if it was April 20th, 69th episode.
We'll celebrate that at some point, maybe too, legally.
Yeah.
Because where we are, we cannot. Welcome to the show, 69. You know what you can do legally here? 69. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We've got some fun stuff planned today.
Yes.
For episode 69, we're going through our top 5 favorite romance scenes. Not adult-only games, you weirdos, you perverts. Just mature-rated games that have romantic scenes, romance scenes.
Our favorite romantic scenes.
Our favorite.
Top 5, baby!
Some would say I grew up because of these romance scenes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's what they're doing.
Yep.
That happened. And then games coming out. There's really no news, so this is basically the whole show.
A lot of good games. I didn't write it down, but I want to talk about Call of Duty.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Call of Duty. I finished everything there is to finish in that game, so we'll have a more complete review. So let's freaking do it.
You know what I want to talk about?
No.
69.
Yeah, and we have our top 69. No, not really.
Top 69.
No, we have a top
scenes.
5 for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Episode 69. We're doing our top 5 favorite romance scenes in video games. Let's just do it. You go first because you have more than I do.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do my OLI. Okay. You do your OLI. That's what we do here all the time.
Let me.
And then you go 5. I'll go 5. We'll swap. I don't want to talk forever about my top 5.
Okay, so we'll go back and forth.
Yeah, after I do my OLIs.
Okay.
That is the heater, ladies and gentlemen.
If you hear the heater, praise the Lord, because you might not see somebody die of hypothermia.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was on, and it's freezing
cold
in here. They must be set really low. All right, so my 3 OLIs. Got 3 of them.
Well, okay. Name one.
I'm not going to go one, then you. I'm going to do all of them, and then you do all your OLIs.
Gotcha.
Yeah, pay attention, James.
Sorry.
69. You want to get hung upside down?
Depends on the circumstances.
Oh, God. All right. OLI number 1, I guess. Alpha Protocol. Have you ever played Alpha Protocol?
AP, Alpha Protocol. I don't know what this is.
So Obsidian made this game on the 360.
Oh.
And PS3.
Okay.
It was really buggy on the PS3 and less buggy on the 360, although it was buggy all around. This is back when Obsidian used to make really cool, unique RPGs.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like BioShock. Or not BioShock.
Is it
like a BioWare game, Mass Effect style?
Was this before New Vegas or after New Vegas?
This is probably before.
Okay, so maybe this was the inspiration for them doing New Vegas.
Not really.
Like Bethesda was like, oh, you guys did a pretty good job here.
So this is more in line of a Mass Effect RPG.
Okay.
And it might be using the same engine, which is notoriously bad. And it's a spy thriller. Think of 007.
Okay.
Right?
Love it.
So there's a romance scene.
Yeah.
And it's very funny.
Mm-hmm. So
the game is a lot of comedy, but not really. It can get intense sometimes. Great story.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good game. You get captured. Your character gets captured. You get tied down on a bed by the antagonist.
Okay.
One of the antagonists is a woman. She's a German woman. Think like traditional... I guess Indiana Jones style German woman, tough,
okay, right,
with a deep voice.
Gotcha. Okay,
East German swim team style German woman, and she is she says, "Hey, I'm glad you're tied up." And she basically violates you.
Yeah,
and you have dialogue choices, just like Mass Effect. And so she basically says, like, "I'm going to jump on you," and you can say, let's get it over with, or no, and then it's more of a struggle, but she ends up doing it.
Okay.
And it's very funny.
Starting off with this is crazy, by the way.
So, if the roles were reversed, like the genders reversed, this
problematic.
would never come out, ever. But since it is getting violated by a huge woman, it's kind of fun.
Woman.
And
it's kind of fun.
And it's a nice little sex scene.
Put that on the box, ladies and gentlemen.
And then my other OLI, I think a lot of people would know what I'm talking about. If you played Alpha Protocol, you'd know this scene.
Right.
And then the next one I want to talk about is Far Cry 3.
Oh, okay.
I thought it's not much of a romance scene. If you kill all your members of your family at the end of the game, you can have a scene with one of the either friends or foes. It depends on how you do things. It's like the Rakyat leader. Her name is Citra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you have to basically go up to your friends and girlfriends and brothers.
Yeah, you have to kill them all.
And you have to slice their throats.
Brutal.
It's brutal. And then you can have a sex scene with her. And then at the end of it, and it's pretty graphic, but at the end of it, she kills you.
Yep.
Game over.
The seed has been passed.
Yeah. And it's kind of, it gets trippy and it gets weird, but it's a great scene. Thought, it didn't make my top 5, but thought I should mention it. And then finally, South Park, Stick of Truth. And I don't know if it's Stick of Truth or the next one after that, the other one. Can't remember. But your character that you play, you're forced to watch your parents in their bedroom for at least 60 seconds or 30 seconds.
What?
Like someone has to, and your character gets like,
yeah.
And it's not much of a scene, but it's hilarious.
Fractured Butthole. That's the other
next one. I don't know if it's Fractured Butthole or if it's Stick of Truth. I think it's Stick of Truth. There are many scenes. There's a probe scene on here too, which is funny with Randy Marsh.
Okay.
And those are my OLIs.
Wow, South Park with a sex scene in their video. I'm stunned.
I'm stunned, yeah.
Okay, well, my OLIs, I think I have 3 or 4 on here that I'm looking at. I'm just going to go 2 right off the bat. Mass Effect, Ashley Williams, and Garrus.
Ashley didn't make your top 5?
Not top 5. No, because there's a better one. Ashley
I know which
and
one.
Garrus. Ashley's great because she is literally, especially in the third one, you can romance her in the first one too.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of.
You can do it in the third one as well.
Okay.
But the third one, she looks more, you know how
realistic?
sometimes she looks more like the character that you point out and be like, oh, I'm going to be able to romance her.
Oh, yeah.
Because she just looks that way in a video game. They're like perfect makeup all the time. Her hair's never messed up. She's wearing the thinnest bodysuit you've ever seen in your entire life.
I know. In the first one, she has a lot of uncanny valley look to her.
Yeah.
It's kind of awkward.
So that one's really good. The Garrus scene too is pretty funny because it's a little
He's an alien.
a little awkward.
Not like a Liara alien.
No, more of a he looked like he grew up on like a rock planet alien. And it's awkward, but it's still good. Because Garrus is a cool guy.
Yeah, Garrus is one of the best characters.
He's cool as hell.
Probably my favorite character in that whole game.
I would agree.
Yeah.
A good first mate.
Yep.
And first sleep mate.
Yep.
So pair those together. Those will be number 1, number 2 OLI because they're both Mass Effect.
Okay.
I also have Fear 2 at the very end.
Fear 2? Yes. I love that one.
Yeah,
it's really quick, but it's
very quick.
Very weird.
Not by choice. Very quick. You're like, I just want to get out of here. That
scary.
Kind of brutal. Very similar vibe as the one you were describing with Alpha Protocol.
Almost the same like framing.
Yeah. It's weird. It's weird.
She's on top of you. I think she you have like bits of flashbacks of her tearing your flesh apart, and then
you have her kid. So congratulations, you're a father.
That's a disturbing game.
And then also my last one, like God of War, the whole trilogy, sex mini game in every single one.
Yeah,
there's a sex game in every single one. You're hitting buttons and you're pleasuring women because you are Kratos, and you just look like somebody that pleasures women.
There's very few,
and then you get health.
Yeah, you get health.
Yeah.
There's very few of these games where there's some sort of interaction.
Yeah.
That is one of them.
Where you actually you're literally playing a mini game. Yeah.
And it's also off screen. It's all
off camera. Yeah.
And on the third one, you have it's in Aphrodite's room.
Yeah.
And you have 2 of the female characters there who are like kind of watching, and you, by judging on their reactions, you get a higher score and stuff.
Yeah, and then there's one, I think it's 2 maybe, where they join in too. Like, and there's just like a bunch of them.
If you keep going
on top.
over,
I'm like, what is he doing with these women? How is this? What are you doing to pleasure this woman,
Yeah.
this sixth woman that's jumping onto this bed? Shout
Awesome.
out Kratos. And then he becomes a
Kratos.
changed man, married,
Yep.
wife dies, and then he raises a son.
Mhm.
Congrats, you're a father as well, Kratos.
One of the greatest story arcs in video game history.
Truly,
it's a long
actually.
arc, over 20 years.
Yeah. He lasted a long time. All right, let's move on. That was my all Those are my all eyes. Those
Okay.
are my all
All
eyes.
right.
So
You
top
ready?
5 now.
Here we go. Number 5,
Number
baby. Shadow of the Damned. You ever played this game?
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I'm thinking of something else. Never mind.
It was remastered and just came out last week, by the way,
Yeah.
or a couple weeks ago. Shadow of the Damned. So there's a part in the game near the end where your character is looking for his girlfriend, I think. Can't remember the story. It's been a long time since I played, but I do remember this scene more than anything. Near the end of the game, you come across a giant woman, like the size of a 10-story building.
Oh.
And it's a clone, or basically it's supposed to look like your girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And
Come on, dude.
you need to convince her you're little. And
Yeah.
she becomes a bridge that you have to walk over.
Uh-huh.
So you walk over her. She's in a bikini, by the way.
Of course she is.
And you walk over
Why not?
her. Just walking over her.
Mm-hmm.
And she's audibly having pleasure.
Just
So-
from the sensation of you walking over her?
Yep. You
Okay.
walk over all the parts.
Yeah.
And then
All included.
if you get to the mountain part
Yeah.
of the body and stand there for a little bit,
Mhm.
she starts to do things, and
She
it's
becomes
funny.
happy.
It's very happy.
Yeah.
And you can watch it. It's hilarious,
Yeah.
but it's pretty graphic, and it's awesome.
You can also do that in Shadow of the Colossus, for those that don't know.
What part?
I'm joking.
You're joking?
Yeah, no, I'm joking. Of
That'd
course
be
not.
awkward. I think they're like animals.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, hey, I'm an animal when I'm riding all over that too.
Yeah, so Shadow
okay.
of the Dam, if you haven't played it, it's a mediocre action game, but
Mhm.
it's memorable and funny.
It's like Starship Troopers, where
Yeah.
the rest of it's mediocre, but everybody remembers Dizzy's shower scene, and everybody remembers where they were at in the movie the other topless scenes.
I think Starship Troopers is better than mediocre, but yeah.
As far as an action movie goes,
Yeah.
I'd say it's mediocre, but that's okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
They never reload in that movie. My
course
number 5, little combo here, but it's because they're basically exactly the same. GTA 4/GTA 5,
What?
Woman of the Night.
Which one is that?
There's plenty of Women of the Night in GTA 4/GTA 5.
I gotcha. Not
Yeah.
a mission called Women of the Night?
No.
Okay.
It's any singular woman of the night.
This
if
is
you're
great.
driving around San Andreas or Liberty City, see a beautiful woman of the night on the side. You're like,
Honk your horn?
Let me honk my horn really quick. And then the car just starts shaking, and
Yeah.
then it's all over. I did that many times when I was in like middle school because I was like, wow, dude, what is this? This is really cool.
I remember when GTA 3 came out on
Mhm.
PS2 and nobody knew anything about the game. Everybody was exploring.
Yeah.
And then I remember just honking my horn.
Mhm.
Randomly, someone comes in and I didn't have enough money. And I was like, whoa, I got to go find money. So I found money and I was like, what's going to happen? And really nothing happens in the
No,
car,
it
unlike
shakes.
GTA 5.
Yeah.
It just shakes. And I told people at school it was hilarious.
Yeah, that's how I was too. On 4, I was like, dude,
I was like, you guys
I
have
saw
no
the
idea. Do you know
coolest
what you could
scene
do?
ever.
Mhm.
I was like, these guys are really like riding the edge here.
Yeah.
And so am I.
GTA 5 definitely pushed it more.
Oh, yeah.
They're actually stars, movie stars, adult film stars that are voicing some of those.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
I got to get back on GTA 5.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta
Maybe
look that,
even GTA 4.
I got to look that up. I had
Almost
no idea.
all the voice cast is like the radio people are,
I knew that.
Jessica White is the country radio station DJ, and that guy is absolutely insane.
Okay.
Absolutely insane. They were like, we'll hire him.
I mean,
So
yeah,
they've
that
gone
makes sense.
lower than adult
Yeah.
film stars.
Yeah, there's plenty of like, well, the one guy that's only famous because not only famous, but he's like famous because he has his appearances in GTA.
Yeah.
That has missions. I can't remember his name.
Laszlo.
There
Yeah.
you go. Yeah, and that's like the only thing he's known for. Really.
Yeah, he's very good.
Okay, so that was my number 5. Both GTA 4/GTA 5, specifically the Women of the Night.
Okay,
Just-
cool.
That's it. Bouncing in the car.
All right, here we go, baby.
Number 4.
All right, let me see the time. All right, number 4, Heavy Rain.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know this scene. Yes.
So Sam and Sean, I believe is their name.
Yeah.
There is a scene. So out of all of my picks, You can't interact with any of them except for this one. So this game's all cute. It's all mini games in these games. So this is like Beyond Two Souls.
Yeah.
And what was the Android one that he made not too long ago on PS4?
Human. Detroit Become Human.
Yes, which is a great game.
Yeah, I haven't played that. I need to play that.
They all have like funny, almost cringy sex scenes. This one is very, very cringy, but it's interesting because you actually have to like undo her blouse with like turns of the...
Dude, it's like I'm actually having sex. Wow. The same feelings. Incredible.
So, I loaded this game up on my PS5, and I had not transferred the save files of this game from my PS4 because I had the remaster. The game came out on PS3, but the remaster came out for PS4. And so I went to go download it, and I had to play the whole game over again. I started like 30 minutes, and I was like, this game's awful.
Yeah.
At the time, it was kind of cool. But I wanted to get to that scene, but it's near the end.
I've never heard good things about Heavy Rain.
It's a great story.
Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong one.
Heavy Rain is when your son or your daughter is missing, and there's a serial killer that has her.
Yeah. And
he's telling you to do things, like go rob the bank or chop off your finger and stuff like that.
When did this come out?
2007 or 8.
Okay, maybe. Okay, yeah. All right, I know what you're talking about. Okay. There was another one recently that came out though that was like heavily panned, like 2017, 2018.
Well, that would have been
maybe
Detroit Become Human.
Oh, I don't remember then. Maybe I'm making stuff up. Who knows? Okay. Heavy Rain.
The one that was panned was Beyond Two Souls.
Oh, that was
the
one
right. With I forgot her name, actress.
I know what you're talking about.
But that one was not very good, but the remaster fixed a lot of things, and I think you should give it another try.
I know. Okay, all right.
Because it's a lot better.
My number 4. This one's easy. It's probably higher, but I honestly need to play it again. Mass Effect, Liara.
Yeah.
She's perfect
this
in every
is
single
your
way.
number 4?
This is my number 4.
Okay.
I'll say my top 3 I put in my top 3 because they all actively had like a deeper meaning that occurred to me. But for like Liara, I was like, she's just perfect in every way, and I want her to be mine forever. And that's what I did. And so I slept with Liara.
Yeah.
She's a blue woman.
Yep.
And
she's blue alien.
Blue alien. The gender roles kind of become weird when you're talking about women.
Well,
yeah,
actually,
it's weird.
they're all female.
Right. But it's a alien. So it's like
I mean, interspecies.
Hey, there's a hole. I'm there. You know what I'm saying?
Oh boy.
Yeah, Liara, I was like, hey, what are we messing around for?
So
let's play.
I'm gonna jump in. This is my number 3 as well. So
okay, perfect.
Your number 4 and my number 3.
Yeah.
But I really liked Liara.
She's the best
as a character.
She's great.
She's probably the hardest one to romance. I don't think I romanced her in the first one.
I don't think I did either.
I don't think you can.
She's not in the second one either.
She is in the second one.
Oh, she is?
She is not a party member.
Okay, that's
but
what I'm
she
thinking.
is.
Right.
And during the DLC, it's the Shadow Broker.
Mm-hmm.
So Realm of the Shadow Broker or something like that. She is working for the Shadow Broker, eventually becomes the Shadow Broker herself.
Right.
And when you do that DLC, I think you might be able to have a scene with her. But she remembers, if not, she remembers everything that you did.
Going into 3.
Yeah, going into after 2, basically. Because the DLC takes place after 2. And if you romance anybody else, she's upset and she'll call her out.
Cool.
Like I romanced the tough girl with the bald head.
Jack.
Yeah. And I romanced her and she did not like that. So she would call her names and stuff like that. And then
Jack names?
Oh, yeah.
Come on, dude.
Like a little brat.
Women, am I
emotional,
right?
like overly emotional. How did you fall for that type of stuff? So you can romance her, I believe, in the first one. It's just the scene I'm talking about is part 3.
Third one. Yeah. Same. That's the one I think of. Because then I like to imagine that, spoiler alert, by the way, Shepard doesn't die. And we live happily forever after. And the little kid I'm seeing throughout the game is not an angel or whatever the hell that they tried to pan it off as. It's actually my kid.
Yeah.
With Liara. So how about that, Mass Effect? That's what I want.
Yeah, dude, Bioware was at their top of the game during the Mass Effect, especially with writing. So Bioware is in the news a lot lately. But one thing is for sure, Bioware used to make amazing stories in their video games. Amazing, like top of the line or top of the
very well written.
Heap.
Yeah.
just the best stories in video games.
Yeah.
Going from Baldur's Gate 1 all the way to Mass Effect. And that includes Dragon Age, Origins, even my favorite Bioware game, underrated Bioware game, Jade Empire. Awesome Eastern story, Chinese story.
I think the Mass Effect games are kind of the peak of sci-fi storytelling in video games, as far as I can think of.
Branching storylines, things that really matter.
Yeah.
I know
feel
that
like they matter.
CD Projekt Red has taken that and made it a lot better.
They gotta make a space game. They should do a sci-fi game. I mean, I guess Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk's pretty sci-fi.
Okay, so that's your number 3 as well.
Yep.
So I'll do my number 3.
Okay.
Far Cry 3. Citra.
Citra, she made it.
I liked. Okay, so this
is very disturbing. Like,
yes, this game came out 2010, maybe something like that. 2010.
Yeah,
something like that. In that area.
2010 or
so I was still
11.
I was still like relatively young when this game came out, and when this scene happened, this is when I first kind of realized. I realized I was like, oh, I'm gaining like no pleasure out of this, even though it's happening. It is a dominant effort by one party to get.
You're talking about your character, Brody?
Yes, your character is being dominated by this person, and it is not a form of pleasure for Brody.
No.
You're not doing well. This is not, you're like, it's not okay.
Well, you can if you kill your rest of your family members.
But like she isn't getting she isn't getting anything like pleasure related out of it either.
Yeah.
Citra is not.
No.
It's mainly to carry on some sort of bloodline, essentially. Yeah. And that was like the first time that kind of clicked for me as a person that's playing video games.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, they can write this and make it not like a pleasurable situation.
Yeah.
And make it interesting still. So I put this high up because that kind of opened a new area for me.
Far Cry 3 was when Ubisoft really tried something new and nailed it with everything. And the game came out in December too, so it was snubbed by a lot of Game of the Year awards, but I think it was Game of the Year, my Game of the Year that year.
Definitely. And that game's great. It has not aged very well, I will say that.
No, it feels like a typical Ubisoft game now.
Well, here's the thing. That game could get remastered, and I would not be mad about it.
It was already remastered.
I know, but like actually,
it's terrible.
But like really remastered.
Yeah,
you know
one of the worst remasters of all time.
But I want real remaster.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that story was really cool.
Awesome.
Jason Brody, everybody was like, "Oh, it's the typical bro guy saving island people," but it's way more than that, and it starts to get weird. The Rakyat, that's the Citra is the leader of the Rakyat. They're priming you magically, for to help you, or to hurt you, or to use you. It depends on how you what your point of view is. And it's really cool and interesting.
It's awesome. That game's really good.
And that sex scene is
brutal.
It's intense.
It's messed up.
It's at the end of the game.
Yeah, I remember finishing. Pause. I remember finishing that game because I played the first time and I didn't kill my friends, and then the second time I did. Yeah. And I remember rolling the credits at the end. I was like, I'm not okay with that decision.
Yeah, I know. It's really
I'm
weird.
not a good person. So yeah, Far Cry 3 Citra scene is my number 3.
Yeah. All right. So my number 1 and number 2 are from characters that I really, really, really like.
That's how I am too.
So there's The Witcher, and most people have played Witcher 3. And there are plenty of scenes in the Hello America.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of scenes in Witcher 3 that everybody's going to remember. But I love Witcher 2. And I like The Witcher 2 mostly because of Triss. Triss Marigold. And she is a character that you play part 1 with, and part 2, she's always with you. And she's incredible. And your dynamic between her and you are incredible. The thing is, you don't know until you finish part 2. Sorry. But in the middle of part 2, you're in an elven ruins. And it's the Rose of Remembrance is the mission.
That makes sense.
And Geralt doesn't have a memory. Triss knows him, but Geralt doesn't know that Triss knows him.
Oh.
And so you try to romance her, and she still has the feelings for you. Her friend is your wife, Yennefer. They're friends.
Awkward.
Yennefer is gone at this point.
Yeah.
She's captured or something. And you don't know any of this until part 3. But so she doesn't want to romance you, but you can, do things and be nicer, and you eventually have an awesome romance scene. And it's like funny, and it's very graphic, by the way. It's very good.
I'm in.
And it takes place in underwater. You fall in the ruins, and it's underwater. You get the Rose of Remembrance, and then people come to the statue, this elven statue of this love goddess or whatever.
Yeah.
And they hear the moaning sounds of Triss.
Nice.
And they're like, what? And they get freaked out.
The statue's alive.
And it's an awesome scene, and I like it because it's just really cool. And it really like stabs you in the heart for what Triss does at the end. She doesn't do anything to you. She doesn't tell you. She's lying to you. She's manipulating you to do certain things. She's a sorceress in the Witcher world. You can never trust them.
Yeah.
I've read the books and all this stuff. I really like Yennefer a lot. But in the games, they never really get the connection between Geralt and Triss. They never go above that, I think. Part 2 has it. It's the pinnacle of the love triangle.
It does feel like they try to do that more with Yennefer in the third game.
Yeah, Yennefer deserves it, but
because you're married.
Yes, and you have a kid together. It's like an adopted or a
Ciri.
Yeah. So that's mine. It's really good. If you've never, that's probably one of the greatest romance scenes ever.
But number 2, I would have put a Witcher game on here, but I was introduced to The Witcher with Witcher 3.
Yeah,
and the one that everybody remembers from that video game is the unicorn scene. And for me, it could not have been more out of left field for somebody that really didn't know anything about The Witcher or Geralt or their connection.
They only mention in the games a couple times, like through notes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then it's referenced a lot in the books. But yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
Is this your number 2?
No. Sorry, you were bringing it up, so I was like, that's why I needed to say something. Okay, my number 2, Wolfenstein: The New Order.
Yes!
The train scene.
I forgot about this one.
The train scene in Wolfenstein: The New Order.
It's very hot.
It is very hot. It's also a very good scene for BJ Blazkowicz. BJ. That's his first name.
Yep.
Because it's kind of showing him he's post like this is the level after you break out of 2 levels after you're breaking out of a mental institution where you have been devoid of any thought for like 30 years or whatever.
Yeah, and your caretakers.
Yeah, and it shows him like this is the scene where he kind of is able to break free of those chains, if that makes sense, and feels like he's becoming more of himself again. And that ends up being his wife and lover and mother to his children in future games.
Is that the game played by Frau?
Yeah, Frau Engel.
Yeah.
Well, she's
in the train too, and you're carrying coffee.
Yeah, and you have the
very
cards.
Intense, yeah,
that's a really cool scene.
Yep.
But yeah, the train scene with Anya is, I think, cool, very emotional, and it's good hot. For BJ too. God, that's a bad name when we're talking about this.
Oh yeah,
because it allows him to open up as a character and kind of sets him free a little bit more to kill more bad guys and be more one with himself, which is cool. It's a great scene, awesome scene. And he just went out to go get coffee, and then guess what? You're banging. It's a dream scenario.
It's an awesome scene. It's also cut and like edited really cool.
It is, yeah. So yeah, that's my number 2. Love that scene.
Yeah. No, all right. Number 1. This is a no-brainer.
We're both probably going to have the same number 1.
Okay. This is easily the outside of. Hold on. This is easily the most risque one. I don't know. The most graphic. Okay. Even though there's not a lot of nudity.
No, not really. But I mean,
it's intense.
Yeah.
And it's Cyberpunk 2077. It's in the tank.
Yep. That's my number 1 as well.
You have to connect. Panam is just.
I love her. She's
easily the most attractive video game character in the history of video games. Easily. Lara Croft. What?
Yeah.
No. You're merged together in this tank. You have to connect your cyber implants.
It's like Pacific Rim.
So I think the roles get reversed a little bit at least for a little bit.
Yeah.
And you can see the point of view of each other. And
true. I forgot about that.
And so,
that's cool.
It gets real steamy.
Yeah,
and it's probably
it's great.
It's probably easily the most romantic, I guess, most intimate you can see.
Yeah,
because you can romance a lot of people, but this one, Panam, is one you care about the most.
This is the one. Here's the thing. I will say I haven't played through that game as a woman, so I haven't been able to romance Jill, is that her name? I can't remember her
Judy.
name. Judy, thank you. And that's one that I want to do as well.
It's really good,
character.
but Judy's Judy.
Yeah,
so
there's
like
something about Panam.
Panam is
She hits
hard
different.
to get.
Yeah.
And it hits a lot
and then
different.
And then once you get her, you're like, this is the greatest. I remember, I'm not kidding.
The ending is, if you do the romance scene and you don't go with the ending with Panam, you don't do the nomad ending.
I mean, you're an idiot.
You're an idiot.
You're an idiot. I will say, I can't believe I'm going to say this out loud, but I'm going to say this on the podcast.
Yeah.
I replayed this game. I played this game and got to this point for the first time a year ago. A year and a half ago.
Yeah,
when we played
it was right around now.
Yeah, when we played the DLC when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
So I played through the actual main story quest as well. And I remember when I got to the romance scene in the tank with Panam, I actively fist pumped.
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
It's happening.
I was thrilled. And
it's so good.
And that's where I knew. I was like, okay, this has got to be number one. Because I've never been that audibly excited for a video game character.
Yeah, it has to be
this
number
game.
one.
So
that's funny because last year we were doing our top 5 video games of the year.
Yeah.
And Cyberpunk 2077 didn't come out last year, but the DLC did.
The 2.0, if you will.
Basically changed a lot. And it was our number ones. And now we get to favorite romance scenes, and boom, we're both number one. Easy.
Yeah.
Boom.
Easy. Yeah, if you haven't, I mean, here's the thing. If you play that game, you're like the rest of us. Just go romance Panam. You won't regret it. She's perfect in every way.
The second you see her, she's fixing the engine of her car.
It's great.
You know what scene I'm talking about?
It took me forever to start that mission.
I remember.
But that's okay.
Yeah, because she won't pay attention to you until you talk to her.
I said, I'm just going to, I got a nice
wow,
view.
what a model.
I got a view here. So we're going to chill out.
I mean, I've been playing it. There's one of the games I've been playing, but
I want to play that game again. I need to play it again, too.
It's still my favorite of this gen game. Even though technically
incredible.
It came out last gen.
Yeah.
But way better on this gen.
Yeah.
And it's still my favorite. It's definitely my favorite graphics and art direction.
Yeah, in the general turnaround of that game has been incredible to see.
Yeah.
To see how well it's improved.
And that tank scene, dude.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. There are other scenes there are other paths you can take that don't take you to that tank, where basically you can, you won't side. I think you do the nomad mission.
Yeah.
But you won't have any interaction with her.
No.
Other than, I think she controls the tank.
Yes.
And that's it.
It's just a different, you can do it. You can have the nomad ending, but it doesn't lead to romance with her. Yeah.
And that's what's funny, because it leaves it open-ended.
Yeah.
Because you can actually fix your cure, but it leaves you without any powers.
Right.
Or you can go take a chance with Panam.
And that's what I did.
Me too.
Because who wouldn't?
Who wouldn't?
Who the hell would not? All right. So
awesome.
that's
top 5 romance scenes.
I'm gonna go watch all of these again.
Yeah, I think
over.
You should check out the Alpha Protocol one. It's hilarious.
I will look that up.
In the Shadow of the Damned.
And nobody should go look up for Fear 2, because that one's weird. Don't do that. It's a weird game. The ending's weird. You're going to be a father, but not in a way that you want to be a father.
I think that's the ending, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the very end of the game.
End, yeah.
And then that leads into Fear 3, which is... Yeah.
Fear 3 is not as good. You got to play Fear 1.
Yeah, I know.
It's very, very good.
Fear 1. Okay, that is our top 5 favorite romance scenes in video games.
Cool.
That was basically all we had. We're going to get into games that are coming out this week.
Notable games coming out. I guess we could talk about Call of Duty for a little bit.
Well, let's talk about that towards the end when we're talking about what we're playing.
Yes, all right.
So coming out this week, it's a big week for you weirdos that like your simulators, okay? We got Planet Coaster 2. You weirdos that like to make...
Dude, that game is amazing.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know who the first person... It was probably not Sid Meier, whoever made the first Roller Coaster Tycoon games. They were like, dude, you know what everybody wants to do? They want to make their own amusement park.
Yeah.
And here we are, years later, and it's still happening. I don't get it. I've never thought to myself, I want to build an amusement park.
It's cool.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
I like it.
There's a Planet Coaster 2 coming out. It comes out literally tomorrow. What's today, the 5th?
Yep.
Yeah, 5th. Literally tomorrow. So November 6th. Go and check it out, Planet Coaster 2. This is sneaking up on us. I had no
not
idea.
me. I've been anticipating this all year.
I had no idea this was coming out in 2 days. Metro Awakening VR. It's the VR Metro game that looked really cool. I think it was shown at the Game Awards, Gamescom, something
no,
like that.
No, it was shown at the PlayStation Direct.
Oh, the Direct. That's right. Yeah. It looks really cool. This game will make me throw up, unfortunately.
Here's the problem: is that Metro is very, very good franchise, a very good franchise. The third one I thought was amazing. It's just the beginning was bad, as opposed to the first and second one. The beginnings are always really good.
Yeah.
The third one beginning is like filled with glitches, audio glitches, and the story wasn't as good. You're like, what? They're outside now?
Metro, the sex scene in Metro.
Which sex scene in Metro?
The one in Last Light.
Yeah, I got
I
with the
should have
girl.
put that on there. Yeah, that one's great.
Yeah.
Dang it. All right,
Her
whatever.
dad is your boss.
OLI. Put it on OLI.
Yeah. That's funny that you just remember that.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
It's kind of a big disappointment that Metro is doing a VR game for the next game, but this is why I bought like a PSVR 2. Yeah. One of the reasons.
Same
for
thing with
big games like this.
Batman did it too. They're doing VR. That's their I mean, it's already out, but that was their next game. Was a VR game. So
I'm excited, dude.
Yeah.
The only issue I'm gonna have with this is that I don't have any money right now to buy it. So, and it's also I don't think I would if I could, because I'm horror gamed out right now.
Yeah, that's true. It is kind of a weird. November 7th is a weird time to.
You really a month ago would have been perfect.
Yeah, they should have done October 7th.
What are you gonna do?
Do you think they'll have
Sony's not hitting right now?
Do you think they'll have a sex scene in this game?
Oh,
VR
maybe.
Metro sex. I think they've had one in literally every single game.
What's her name? I think her name's Anya.
I think it's Anya too. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Huh. What is with the name? There's a lot of games that have Anya as a romanceable
Have you ever been
character.
to Eastern Europe?
Well, that's a good point. But Gears, Anya, and then the one I mentioned.
Anya is a typical name for some. It sucks, but it's like John.
Okay, but John's a man's name.
I know, it's the
Janya. Whoa.
Yanya.
Wow.
All
okay,
right.
so yeah, that's coming out. I want to try this game, but I don't know if I would be good. I would probably throw up from this game, unfortunately.
If you had a PSVR, I think PSVR 2 is really good. The field of view is very wide, and you especially with this game, it has plasma goggles, whatever you want to call it.
Ploggles.
So,
Ploggles.
So it has
plasma goggles.
So the darks are really dark, and Metro is an extremely dark game.
Yeah, true.
I mean, you're in tunnels the whole time.
You're literally in the Metro, except for the last one, the third one. You were outside for the whole game.
I know.
Pretty much.
It's a big difference.
I never beat that game. I should play that again.
It's very good. One of the best graphics. If you have a PS5 or Series X, that's probably the best graphical game out.
That was one of the games that I played where I actively remember thinking to myself, wow, this really runs slow and feels slow.
The beginning is so bad.
Yeah.
It
was weird.
It really ramps up. Just play it for an hour, maybe two. Ugh.
Yeah.
Once you get to the first open world section, that's when you're like, oh, this is the game?
Yeah.
Wow, it took this long?
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's VR game and Metro, whatever. Hopefully they make another one on for consoles, because
I know.
I don't think they should be done telling the whole story.
I hope they don't go broke after this.
Yeah, that's honestly a good point.
4A games, man, they're one of the best. So,
Farming Simulator 25 for you weirdos out there that are like, I'm coming off the farm and I want to get on the farm again.
Odin loves this game. He has the 24.
I know a couple people that love the Farming Simulator games. I'm not. Hey, you know what? You're weirdos, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means you're a weirdo.
I think it's just a unique playground.
I guess.
I mean, you could just drive tractors and do jobs and it's just trucks.
But you get what I'm saying. Nobody. It's weird that you're coming home from work and you're like, I got to do more work.
But here's the thing about Farming Simulator. It's unlike the original Farming Simulator was very much like that. But as opposed to Mud Runner or Snow Runner, where it's hard to do a job.
Right.
And then when you're done, you're like, wow, I just did a job without getting paid. Farming Simulator is a little more open-ended, so it's a little more, you can earn your money more freely, I should say.
So you pre-ordered the gold edition of this game?
No, these things come out on Game Pass all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I don't know if this one's coming to Game Pass.
I don't think so, but they
24 is on Game Pass.
Yeah, they do end up coming to Game Pass. But here's the thing. Hey, you know what? You might be a weirdo for Farming Simulator 25. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm a weirdo for Power Washing Simulator. I like that game.
Yeah, you like Power Washing Simulator.
It's on VR too.
It's on VR.
Holy cow, is that game fun in VR? I love washing stuff in VR.
Did you play it in VR?
I've played that game in VR, and I was like, wow, this is my dream.
Just doing this?
A power washing business.
That's insane because you can actually, it's not even expensive to get a power washer, and everybody needs a power wash. Like their driveway, all this stuff. Thing. You can earn
Here's the thing.
a lot of money.
If I'm doing it in VR, I'm not getting all wet. I'm not having to. I'm not. It's not. You don't.
Wear a suit.
You don't have all the negative effects.
Yeah, like dry hands.
Yeah, or I've seen people almost cut their foot like toes off.
I've seen.
People don't understand how powerful power washers really are, but they're crazy.
I know someone who got a bad injury from power wash.
That's so scary.
Yeah,
and it's water. You need it. And finally, Tetris Forever.
Stupid.
You Tetris losers out there.
You need it.
Just kidding.
Tetris losers.
Tetris losers. You know,
how many Tetris games are there?
Yeah, dude. It's one of the best selling IPs ever. I think maybe ever.
You seen the movie?
There's a movie for Tetris? Oh, wait, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's a movie.
What's it called though?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's good though.
Yes.
Trying to get that
I haven't
out
seen
of
it,
the
but
USSR.
I need to watch it. Yeah. Sounds great though. And it was made by like 2 people, wasn't it, or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Couple Russian guys. They were like, "Hey, let's put blocks on top of blocks and see how it sells." And that's when Metro came out. No,
I don't think they thought how it sells. They were like, "Let's make this," and everybody was like, "Wow, this is really good." And we're like, "Wow, we really would like to profit off of our hard work.
True.
We're gonna have to escape this country."
They're like, "This is the coolest stuff I ever seen." That was all I did. Was that good?
I have a sister-in-law who's so good at Tetris. She will dominate you in Tetris.
I tried the on Switch the Tetris Battle Royale game, which I can't believe is the words I'm saying. Do you remember when that came out?
Effect, I think.
Yeah,
right?
Yes, I played that and I was like, these people are way too good at this game.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
Good. There's on the Nintendo version, the Tengen version, not the Nintendo version, but Tengen has a 1-player versus 2-player mode, and people have like learned this flick technique.
God, dude.
Where you use all your fingers to flick and move the pieces, and holy jeez.
That's how they speedrun.
Yeah.
Speedrunners too, with the flick.
They just go brr, brr.
I respect those
really
guys,
intense,
it's
and
like,
I don't know how you do that.
Yeah. Crazy. Tetris.
You can only see what comes next, and how do they know?
I don't know, dude. You're asking the wrong person. Okay, I don't get it.
It's one of those games. Tetris is one of those games that is a perfect video game, and no matter how many of these things, I think EA owns the Tetris license.
I was wondering.
And forever,
well, now you can play it forever.
How different can it be?
Tetris Forever.
I like that VR mode. It was
the blocks
effect,
are
I think, because you can like look around.
See, that's cool. That seems
but
like
it's still in front of you. I don't know.
Seems like a smart iteration of Tetris, but I don't know. I mean,
how many different ways can you do it? Dr. Mario is pretty good.
When it came out 30 years ago or whatever, I don't think anybody was like, we're going to have more. There's going to be a game coming out in 2024 of this, and people are going to buy the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Here we are. That just goes to show, make whatever you want, and at some point, maybe something will stick and be famous forever. Because that's where we're at now. Whatever.
Something definitely going to stick on this episode.
Nice. Okay. That is what's coming out.
Sponsors.
Let's Let's talk about what we're playing this week.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Call of Duty, Black Ops 6. That's basically what I've been playing. I finished it. I finished the campaign. Let me say, spoiler alert right now, because it's been out for over a week now.
Yeah,
I think we can kind of spoil it a little bit for the campaign.
I'm going to spoil it. Let's do it.
Spoiler alert: if you still haven't beat the campaign,
don't listen to it. Don't listen to this. You've made it 52 minutes in.
Right. I don't know why you're still here. Black Ops 6 campaign. It does not come back from its high.
No.
After a certain point.
Yeah.
And that point is when you're going into the U.S. Secret base underground, and it's filled with zombies, and you're
definitely trips you out.
Yeah, you're tripped out of your mind. That is one of the coolest missions they've ever made.
Yep.
They need to do more of that stuff.
No,
I'm begging them.
Here's the thing. I think that's what they wanted to do. They started to do. When you say do more of that stuff, do you mean get into the horror genre?
Yeah, like get into horror and do more trippy stuff like that.
Yeah,
like
I think that's good. But I think what they were trying to do is they're trying to offer a different gameplay moment.
Right.
And they did that too much near the end. And I didn't. Yeah. I hated that ending. Otherwise, I thought one of my favorite Call of Duty games.
Yeah.
But in terms of campaign, but
the ending does become Call of Duty ending.
It's just the
you're jumping onto a helicopter.
When they take the control away from you.
Yeah.
I really don't like that.
Yeah.
Call of Duty, you're in control the entire time until the end?
Yeah, the entire ending is a cutscene.
And then And then the last mission, when you're in the house, you go from point A to point B, back to point A, then point B, then back to point A. And you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
We're running out of things to do at this point.
That's the thing, too, that's interesting about, for whatever reason, Black Ops games. 3 out of the last 4 Black Ops games have had the ending you exploring someone's conscious.
Yeah.
It's really weird. Black Ops 3 had that ending where you're in the frozen forest. Black Ops Cold War had the ending where you're going back and you're trying to find the red door or whatever. Yeah. And now this one, you can't even...
The red door was more interesting.
You could say 3 out of the 3 because the only one I'm missing is Black Ops 4, and that did not have a campaign in it. Well, so 3 out of the 3 last Black Ops
Ops 1, the whole time you're exploring your own conscious. You're going back into your memory.
But it's not like you're leaping around it and it's like actually a level. You're actually exploring your memories.
Right. Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know why they keep wanting to do that because that part of it is not nearly as interesting because they've done it 3 times in a row.
I also don't like what's-her-face. Like, who is she?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I mean, she's the villain who turns on you basically off camera. You're like, oh, she's there? You're watching something. You're like, oh, that's the girl who we're supposed to be working with, a CIA member.
I don't think she looks the same.
No.
I was like, who is that? When I first saw her, I did not know that it was the lady from the beginning because they don't look the same like at all.
No.
It's very odd.
She's in military garb.
Yeah. Well, and she has her hair like bunded up and stuff.
So
she's
not
different.
intimidating, and she's not. I don't care about her family and her trauma. Like I would have if you would have built it up.
Yeah, if you introed with this, it would have made a lot more sense.
But I'm like, oh, she's got daddy issues?
Also, the twist, if it would have been Adler, the person that actually went in and did that, I'd be like, okay,
there we go.
This makes sense. You hate Adler because he killed your parents. That makes sense. I would hate him too. But then they twist it again, and they're like, is it really him? And I'm like, okay, well, what is it? Was it him or was it not him?
No,
I don't understand.
It was...
The other thing they don't explore enough towards the end of the game is the entire section of the game that's very cool, which the level I can't remember the name of, where you are as Case, and there's a voice talking to you about how you were one of the test subjects for this, and they never come back to it.
Yeah,
it's really odd.
I don't know if that. At first, I was like, wow, they really changed directions. I don't.
Right.
It was almost like a flood situation where now who's the bad guy? What the whole point of this game is now different. Like they keep saying don't say it.
Right.
But is that I think now I'm just wondering if it's just the effects of the drugs wearing off.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's all it was.
That's what I was. But and the other thing is too, if it wasn't, then who was talking to you the whole time? You know what I mean?
It's her. It's I don't voiced by the bad lady.
But I don't understand how that happens, and that's the voice that's coming to your head, but it's nothing you've been told before. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's very odd.
I thought his name is Case.
Right.
So you're
and
like, oh, case number something.
Number 1. Right. That's how they explain that. I'm like, that's why they call him Case.
I'm like, yeah. Now everybody's in on it. Like, who am I? I'm going to have to break out of this. And then nothing.
Yeah. And that's kind of how they end Black Ops Cold War is you are, somebody that they kidnapped and basically did MK Ultra on or whatever and reset your brain to think that you're working for the Americans, but you were actually a Russian the whole time and they kidnapped you. That actually is kind of cool as a twist ending. Mm-hmm. But for this, it just never comes back up. It's really weird how it ends. The whole ending is not very good.
I was so disappointed.
It's very much left on with like a lot of unanswered questions, and I'm assuming maybe they're going to try to answer in the next game, I guess. Or the other possibility, which would really make me angry.
DLC?
No, I think they're going to try to continue the story in Warzone.
Oh, no.
Because the guy you see at the very end, who is, he's like, somebody's narrating something at the very end as the credits are about to roll, and then it scans up and it shows one guy that's like typing on the computer or whatever, trying to get in, quote unquote, is what you try to think of. He's an operator that you can play as in the game. So he's going to be somebody that is going to be influential in Warzone.
Well,
probably.
they did merge zombies really well with the campaign. Yeah. I guess if you merge the multiplayer or Warzone in the game, it'd be kind of interesting. But I don't know. I was liking this game a lot, and then when I finished it before you, and I told James, I was like, I hate that ending, and you're like, what?
Ending's not great.
It really, like you said, it really doesn't come off the high of the middle of the game.
You hit a high on one specific level,
like right before the last third of it.
Yeah, you hit a high. You climax. Pause. at one specific point, and you're like, wow, okay, this is the leap they need to be making. Like, if you have these windows, these 2-year dev cycles or whatever, and you can explore different ideas and whatnot.
It's a 3-year, isn't it? But now everybody's working it all together.
Yeah. But what I mean is, like, if you're able to now flesh out these ideas because you have longer windows to work from, that's exactly what I want. That's perfect. Do this crazy stuff and see how it lands.
Yeah.
Take those risks, and sometimes it'll work.
Yeah.
Like this time, I think this will be one of those levels that we look back on and be like, yeah, that was one of the coolest levels they ever made.
The mannequins were scary.
The mannequin part was really creepy.
Yep.
I loved every second of it, but it was very creepy.
It's not original, but they walk towards you when you're not looking at them.
And
you can hear them.
Sleeping angel idea or whatever. Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. I never thought I'd want to experience that in a Call of Duty game, but it's perfect.
I'm playing another game.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at it.
By the way, everything else in that game, now that I've delved into it, I think they did a really good job. I think multiplayer is pretty solid. Maps are a mess. Really not very good. Zombies are great. I think they nailed zombies, and for the most part, the multiplayer is still fun, even with the map issue.
What number would you get out of 10 in terms of Call of Duty? Just compare it with Call of Duty, not anything else.
Out of Call of Duty?
Out of Call of Duty.
This is probably the best one we've gotten since the reboot of Modern Warfare.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think it's second best since then.
I would agree. Although
it might even be better.
I think I like the multiplayer better in the last one. Came out last year.
In Modern Warfare 3?
Yeah. I really like the Omni movement in this game.
Oh no.
Sorry. And I really.
You do got to be sniffing Adderall to play. Like, you got to be on some stuff if you're good at this game.
It's not. I'm so done with the multiplayer in this game so far.
I
don't think I'm going to go back until you do a ground war or something else. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I'm curious to see how they make it work in Warzone, because I think that's where it's going to get insane.
That's where I'm more interested in. When Warzone comes out, I'll probably play that for 5 days and then never go back to it again. But I'll give it a number out of Call of Duties. This is like an 8.
Yeah.
Out of Call of Duty.
This one has held my attention longer than
8 out of Call of Duty.
Yeah. This one's held my attention longer than a lot of them in recent years. So I'll give this one. I'll give it like an 8.5, closer to a 9, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's definitely on the if you were to split every Call of Duty in half between good and bad, it's on the good side. This is
absolutely
definitely on the good side. This is a good Call of Duty game. It's just somewhat disappointing in the ending and the second half. And I think the multiplayer maps are just, I think there's 5 maps that I cannot. I'll say 3 maps that I cannot stand. Like
there's a lot of really bad
out of the game.
There's a lot of really bad maps in that game. That's the biggest flaw for me.
And it seems to be design. It seems to have this same trend every year.
Yeah.
With I miss the lobbies where the lobbies are stuck together. Keep skill-based matchmaking. I don't care anymore. They're never going to change it, but keep it. Keep the lobbies. At least put me into a skill-based matchmaking lobby that I can continue on. And then leave. You know what I mean?
What's the baseline for your Call of Duty? This is, if it's better than this, then it's good. If it's worse than this, then it's bad. Like, what is some people, if you're looking at sitcoms.
World War II.
If you're looking at sitcoms, Cheers. If it's better than Cheers, it's good. If it's worse than Cheers, it's bad. Like, that's your middle ground.
I think Cheers is definitely not a middle ground. It's one of the best, but whatever. Ground.
Sorry.
I would say World War II. World War II is like a tolerable Call of Duty game for me.
Okay. I would say mine, if I were to say better than this. Well, I asked myself.
I like the World War II multiplayer.
Yeah, I guess if
the campaign is like the campaign is always like, is it good? It's almost good. I played the whole thing, which means it's good, I guess.
I think people would dissuade you on that part or on multiplayer part, because I think largely in the Call of Duty community, World War II is kind of slammed on.
I know, but I think a lot of the pro scene, they loved it.
I don't think so. I think you'd be surprised. I think they hated it. Yeah.
I like it because there was a very high time to kill.
Yeah, true.
Or quick time to kill.
I think but for me as well, I think multiplayer wise, that's probably a good point.
I mean,
I played that one a lot too.
It's just, I think that's the baseline.
Modern
Warfare 3 is when I really started to hate the campaign, but now when I go back to it, it's actually pretty fun.
Whoa!
I do miss I'm talking about the original. Modern Warfare 3. Not the new one.
They're talking about last year's.
I miss there's almost different eras of Call of Duty, but I miss the World War II versions like Call of Duty 2 and 4, which is Modern Warfare. But I miss the structure where you go out and you do missions with a bunch of people and you see all these expendable soldiers with you.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And you just advance and you keep going and you advance. World at War was great with that, but they added more of a story element to it.
Right.
So that's when they started veering off into more honed in hallways.
Yeah, on those older ones, you'd have 3 to 4 of the main guys that you were with.
Yeah.
And then like 7 or 8 random people that could die throughout the
they die a lot
throughout the mission or whatever.
You leave your friends like bodies on the ground. But I miss those, and I also miss the big blockbuster nonstop balls to the wall action like Modern Warfare 3, the original Modern Warfare 3.
Mm-hmm.
And 2. I think 2 was the best at that. I mean, it's nonstop. This one is there is either nonstop action in the missions and then they change it up drastically and then they go back and then they change it up again. So I applaud them for that, but it's better than World War II.
Yeah, I would say that for campaign, the baseline for me would be something like Infinite Warfare. I think Infinite Warfare, if it's better than Infinite Warfare, it's good. I like
that campaign a lot.
So do I. I think it's good.
Yeah.
But if it's better than Infinite Warfare, it's great. If it's worse than Infinite Warfare, that's not good.
I think Infinite Warfare is a unique one because I hated that multiplayer.
Same. That's how I was.
Horrible.
I barely touched it. The
But
campaign,
I
underrated.
love that campaign. That's one of the few Call of Duty campaigns I've gone back and beat it twice.
Yeah, it's honestly underrated. Yeah. Everybody hated it because it was just Infinite Warfare.
Dude, I beat Modern Warfare 2 not too long ago.
Yeah.
Like the original Modern Warfare 2. And it's fantastic. Soap on a
Wait,
rope.
You beat it for the first time?
No.
Oh.
Like for the 4th time.
God, you scared me. I'm gonna say dude,
the mission
the
where
incredible.
where you grab soap. That's the mission where the very ending, not the raft ride,
right?
But which is fun. But when you grab the knife and you throw it at Shepard,
flip it,
and it's a little bit of control taken out of your hands, but at least it's something.
But you throw it, it's cool. And then Hans Zimmer plays in the background with the credits. Oh, killer, dude! It's awesome.
Really, really, really good. They don't do that anymore.
No, not like that.
I think they
haven't had a character like that since then, probably. Soap and Price, maybe Woods and Mason, I guess.
So there are 3 teams. It's Sledgehammer main teams.
Yeah.
Sledgehammer, Infinity Ward, and Treyarch.
Yep. So yeah,
so it's like a 3-year cycle.
Yeah.
But they Raven does a lot of the stuff. I think Raven even did this entire campaign.
I wouldn't be stunned by that. Yeah.
It feels like a Raven game. Go play Singularity. It's a great game from Raven.
I'm gonna play Alpha Protocol for one reason.
Do it.
A big muscular German.
The big
woman.
old German lady.
All right.
Definitely takes advantage of you. All right.
Great. All right. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 69. We all hope you had your shirts off and were celebrating with us. We were going to do that. Just a little cold, hypothermia. You guys know how it is. Can't get that around here.
Wyoming.
But thank you very much for tuning in. It's back to regularly scheduled programming. Our next milestone, 420. We're a long ways away. We got to get to episode 420.
No, our next milestone is 100. We'll do something nice for 100.
That's true. We should honestly celebrate that. That's a good point.
Yeah, we will.
All right. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Keep it real.
Yep. 69.